A very good evening to all our viewers. Aja and IDAC, with immense pleasure, would like to present yet another spectacular webisode of Master Speaks. Decoding Architect Vivek Bhole in conversation with Architect Gaurish Chandavarkar. Today's webinar is presented by Everest Industries. I hope this session is inspirational and motivational for all our viewers. Before we start the session, we would like to present a short AV, and thereafter, Gaurish sir will be taking the lead. Thank you.
You always start with a blank piece of paper. The idea usually comes as a sudden spurt, and once that clicks, I think we're all very excited. It should give you goose flesh.
I think for me, architecture is really a discovery.
We are actually dealing with elements such as the wind, sunlight, rain, shadow, and creating spaces which you've only imagined, which you've actually never created before.
Architecture is made up of materials. So the choice of materials is obviously extremely important. I think our discovery, so to say, of the fiber cement board, which could be used, was very fascinating. The board itself allowed us to create a palette where we had this grey clay-like surrounding, and then we had little jewels of art juxtapositioned against this very grey background.
I feel using prefab boards in a mechanical clamping way adds to some kind of an insulation if it is used as a second skin on a building, and that also adds to save your air conditioning cost. Also, they are aesthetically very beautiful, especially the boards which have come now with textures of wood, stone and other finishes.
When you're using prefabricated boards and you're using so many of the prefabricated walls, then specifically we talk about efficiency in terms of the fact that it's locally made, and definitely something which is locally made is far more efficient. The fact that a material which can be bought and come to site in literally 3 days can be cut and be used and be put up so quickly is something which is going to save you time. Cost-wise, it's extremely efficient. So definitely using these materials plays a part in creating a sustainable structure.
We are doing one APMC market in Latur. There the whole concept is that we are putting all the prefab structures all together as a 7 lakh square feet of development. So it's supposed to be complete in 4 months' time. So we did DNA, one of our projects which we did, the whole factory of 200,000 square feet was completed in 3 months' time, and including the press and everything put together. So there are so much of advantages of using the new things.
We designed a building in Delhi where we proposed a hollow column, hollow beam system, then using these paneling systems to cover the whole structural and service framework. So even the flooring would be just stones on neoprene pads. So you can actually dismantle the whole building after it's used and have as little, ecological footprint in the area. So I think a prefab methodology allows you to achieve that very easily.
We were using this particular thing. We were able to reduce 30 mm sizes to 19 mm sizes. We were able to reduce the structural costings of the facade.
And I think that's very important in architecture, that we constantly question our work and we constantly evolve it.
Good evening to all our well-wishers, the young architects and not so young architects. We are meeting again here for one more episode, one more event, where we're going to discuss a few things with a very solid architect, an architect of repute, an architect who has made a very strong impact on the architecture practice in this country and everywhere. Uh, this episode of Master Speak is primarily based on this one individual who has traveled, who has worked his way, who has seen the rigor, seen the turmoil, and has been very specific, very focused on what he wants to achieve in architecture. Without taking much more time on this, I'm here to introduce to you a very dear friend, a batchmate of mine, and a person of a certain personality which everybody's looking for. And that person is architect Vivek Bole.
Thank you, Dorish.
Vivek, it's a pleasure and it's an honor to talk to you today. And it'll be a great moment of satisfaction for us to know that our batchmate has taken up a stand and has contributed to architecture. So we have been batchmates. We have traveled together on the trains, and there's one episode that I remember very, very strongly, and I would like to talk to you and tell you about it. Is that we were in a train one day, and I'm of course a second generation architect, and you have come here with a vision of architecture, and you had told me once that it's easy for us, perhaps us as in second generation architect, to take up this profession ahead, but it's going to be a struggle for y'all, the first generation architect. But let me appreciate, let me admire that today when we're sitting here again after 25 years, I am so proud that you have not only understood architecture, but you have also dedicated yourself to take this profession ahead. So I want to know what has been your first entry into JJ, the first day you entered into JJ, and what was your idea of architecture? Tell us about it.
Okay, so Gaurish, I actually started learning about architecture in my 8th standard.
Oh,
So I worked with one architect Mr. Arun Bhule in my 8th standard holidays, and then immediately in my 9th standard holidays, instead of studying for 10th, I was working with architect Ashok Dhar in my native place. So those 6 months I learned drafting, and believe me, I did my first line out of a bungalow on site when I was in 9th.
kya baat.
Alone. My boss gave me the bag and he said, go and do it.
Wonderful.
And then I helped my brother to do his diploma civil engineering drawings in my 8th standard, 9th standard and 10th standard. And I had vocational technical course, so I had a lot of drawing there. And then I selected civil engineering as a selective in 11th and 12th. So when I came in JJ, I was very well prepared. Okay, and that confidence was actually overconfidence, and then I faced a lot of trouble because of it. But then I always had almost a kilometer ahead of you all, and
sure.
you can remember that.
Yeah, of course.
So I would like to share one experience with you. When we had that entrance exam.
We had it with Vartak and all those people.
Yeah. So what happened? For the first time, I landed in Mumbai. My first day in Mumbai, I get out of BT station and straight away to JJ College, and the entrance exam started, and they asked me to draw double-decker bus.
I remember that.
So I was trying to remember
Memory drawing.
Double so I was not exactly remembering anything about double-decker. I only knew, it's a 2-storied bus. So because I exactly didn't know how it looks from the front, I didn't notice it my first day. So I drew it from the rear side, and it was totally wrong. Okay, and then I didn't know exactly how even the hand drawing, the freehand drawing to be done, and there is to be color to be filled. So you won't believe, I came there without brush, and Tushar was sitting in front of me.
Tushar Agri.
Tushar Agri.
Arey, kya baat.
And I borrowed a brush from him, so he had one spare brush. But the only problem with the brush, as soon as I dip into the color, it spread it like this. And then with whatever that brush, I filled the color and I gave those papers. And then there was an interview. So,
second part was it.
so Professor Vartak, he saw all my work, right from my 8th standard to my 12th standard civil vocational course. And he was doubtful. He asked me, have you done these drawings? I said, yes. He said, yourself? I said, yes. So he removed those 2 papers, one memory drawing and that freehand drawing. And he said, then who has done these drawings?
Oh, he looked at your technical drawings.
Technical drawing. He said, your drawings are superb. But then who has done these drawings then? If you have to accept either these 2 drawings are yours or the whole bunch which you are carrying is yours. So then I told him that my first day in Mumbai, you asked me to draw this double decker, which I didn't know. And the brush, I told him the whole episode. Then he actually asked me so many questions. There was one steel construction drawing. So he asked me, what is this called? A gusset plate, the steel stanchion. And then once he was satisfied, now whether I should tell this on the record, I don't know. But then I had been given 6 marks for these 2 drawings out of 20. And he just wrote 1 in front of that 6.
Kya baat.
And I got my admission.
Kya baat. I'm sure those teachers at that time, they were very, very sensitive to such issues. So I'm sure it's appreciated. It's really appreciated. That's nice.
Yeah, and he told me that the drawings which I was carrying were almost equivalent to the drawings third-year architecture students do.
I know, because I remember the drawings that we had. You know, we had basic drawings, graphics and all, and you always excelled at all that. So I'm sure that, so actually informally saying your Nata of now was done earlier since 8th standard.
Kind of.
That's nice. So those were the first days that you came into
So that helped me a lot. See, that lead, in fact, I kept that lead till the last year, if you remember. And I was really very proud of that. Although I had a lot of lacunas on other part, but this technical, superiority that overcome those lacunas.
But even your approach to design always had a particular focus. It was not only technical drawings.
So what happened, whenever I used to see things, learn things in architecture college, because I had site experience and I had little more experience, so I used to look at it from different angle those days also. Yeah. So it was not for marks, it was not for pleasing somebody, teachers. It was for myself. So I knew someday I have to do my own practice, and I was learning for that.
Yeah. Because I very well remember that not only the technical drawing, but there was a focus to design, and which was very much appreciated by the teachers.
I was very practical. I was very practical. In fact, I was more practical than most of the students there.
Most of the last
So it was like simple design. I used to do. Then in 4th year and 5th year, that deconstruction Kida came in picture, and then I started doing those complex drawings. But till then, my drawings were only functional.
That's also the basis required in the first few years of architecture. If your fundamentals are strong, then I think you can achieve much more in the later years.
Yeah, but when I say functional, they were very good plans, but very simplified functional plans. Right. So even today in my practice, you will find there are 2 different types of projects. Few projects are very, very complex in terms of design, and few projects are absolutely sticking to the basics.
Right. So before I come to that part of your practice, so after having finished your architecture and the process of actually starting your practice, did you think of any philosophy that you wanted to develop? Did you have some thought process as a young architect? What was that idea that you were carrying or wanting to take it through?
See, we always start any project with some case studies.
Right.
So that is what is taught to us in architecture college. So whenever I studied taken any case study to start my design, I used to always set a highest possible goal, the difficult most goal. And then to achieve it, I used to work really hard.
Right.
So even today, if you give me a project, I'll do more analysis of the nearby competition, the analysis of the site, and then I'll start my project design with certain goals, and the goals of higher standard. And then whenever I used to start design, I was right from the beginning, because I learned architecture little different than others. That is what is my belief. So I categorized architecture into the planning process into 3 different segments. So few projects you start with concept, few projects you start with planning, and few projects you have to start with detailing.
Nice.
But you have to complete the circle. It is not that you start with something,
Right.
but you'll have to complete other 2 for sure. But from where you start and which direction you move, that is how the design philosophy will define. So setting a goal, whether it is a sustainable goal, a planning requirement goal, or sometimes even detailing goal. So that drives the whole designing process.
Very nicely put, that whether you start from concept or you start from planning or you start from any other aspect, you need to cover that whole circle. I
But
think
if
that's
you
very
start
nicely put.
a project with the wrong starting point, you actually end up into,
That's a risk.
yeah, it's a risk.
But I think, as you rightly pointed out, you need to be aware, and that comes by.
Yeah, that comes with practice.
Nice. That's wonderful. There's one more thing I want to ask you. You always seem to be getting or using or approaching something which is of highest difficulty level. And I remember you telling me that this comes from your inherent growing up time, that you would want to pick up something which is difficult, and this difficult softwares or difficult projects. So tell us something about this whole personality of yours.
Okay, see how it starts. First, right from the beginning, from my childhood, I have seen drawings prepared by my uncle, and he was civil engineer and MS in structures, and stayed more than 60 years in US. But all his drawing sheets were there at my house, and my father, he was a electronics engineer, diploma electronics engineer. Those days where the wall radios were there, you know.
Yeah.
So he used to make those diagrams. My mother used to, do a lot of tailoring. So she used to draw those diagrams.
Right.
And believe me, all 3 were excellent. So whenever I started drawing, I used to remember those 3, and they set the goal actually.
Right.
And believe me, till today, if you consider me as a good draftsman, as far as drafting is concerned, I'm nowhere comparing to my uncle.
Yeah, but you have your own expression, so.
No, he was too good.
Right. So that's interesting. So let's now help us to take us through from your 1993 onwards to 2020. Why don't we start with your presentation?
Yes.
And let's look at some of your projects and see what you have to say about it. And I'm sure that many of us would like to see something which is interesting. So I'm sure in the presentation, if something comes up, let's talk about it.
Sure.
So Vivek, before we go into the presentation, I want you to ask this question: neo-modern architects.
Okay. As I said, I was influenced, in fact, zapped by that term called deconstruction.
All right.
Okay. And then almost everything I used to do was in that deconstruction. If you remember my last 2 years presentation. So those days, this term called New Modern popped up. And then I said, okay, this is the style which I'm going to adopt. Actually speaking, over a period, I'm no more using that style, architectural style. Now it has gone much beyond that.
Absolutely. And that's why you're here as a master architect. I'm sure that you have developed your own style. But neo-modern still remains.
It remains.
It's a brand. I'm sure it will have some value.
So, Gaurash, like any newcomer in Mumbai market, it's very hard time. It was my belief. I told you that in the train. So I started accepting almost any job they used to offer me. And then somebody offered me a few projects who was working with me, and we did a lot of work on that together. I left my job for that, and eventually he lost the client. And I had to go to the client with his permission, of course. And I asked the client what was the issue. So there was some misunderstanding, and the client said he doesn't want to work with my partner. And then with the permission of my partner, he is still my good friend, I worked on that project further, and the role was limited to design. Initially we took it including licensing approval part, and then that is how I started my practice. But then with one client you cannot survive. So somebody approached me for unauthorized chawls in the beginning. So I told them I'm not that kind of architect. So I suggested to go for slum redevelopment. And in those days, the new government, Shiv Sena government, was in power, and they were pressing on slum redevelopment a lot. So we started the movement, and when Manoj Joshi became CM, the first slum rehabilitation project he inaugurated was mine. It was a sizable project, and then by 2000 I had number of these projects. So this is, let's say, this is not the first one, but then this is one of the redevelopment project we did in Parel.
Okay.
And it's a award-winning project with silver certification of, I don't think anybody has taken platinum certification or gold certification. So we have got IGBC and LEED both certification for this project, gold and silver. Right. And almost 1,080 people already accommodated there.
1,080.
80. So I have completed more than 40-50,000 slum rehabilitation tenements.
Tell me the number again. 40, 50?
40 or 50,000.
Wow.
Tenements. So again, something similar here. Almost like 900 slum dwellers, and this is the cell component. So see, that generated opportunity for me to design cell component. Who will give me cell component? I didn't have any contact in Mumbai. So the slum rehabilitation scheme gave me that opportunity.
Right.
And see, this scheme I started in 99, completed recently, but that gave me the opportunity to design the tallest residential tower in Bandra.
Wow.
So that is how I got recognition as design architect.
Right.
So by 2005, I didn't need to do all those slum rehabilitation projects. I stopped doing licensing, and I focused only on
the strength, which is design.
So then we did lot of commercial buildings, like the one is iPark at Gurgaon, then Hyde Park, then this is at Matunga coming up, and this is what we completed in 2005 or so. And this is one iconic tower we did in Goregaon. So very interesting tower architecturally, and see the peculiar feature of this tower. My FSI kept on changing throughout the project, and because I use those latest softwares,
We're coming to that.
we always kept on managing the profile, because the profile is in elevation.
Yes.
So, and then we had this 5-story tall atrium on the outer space. And
it is a complex structure.
It's a complex structure. Yes. It's a composite structure, basically. Then this is a commercial building we recently completed at Indore, 6.5 lakh square feet commercial tower already occupied now. These are the photos. The entrance lobby, and you can see the parametric now there. Okay, and then in somewhere in 2010 or 2000, no, possibly 2008, I met Mr. Vashu Bhagnani.
Yes.
And he was a big influencer in my life.
He loves you. He loves you because I'd seen one of his interviews in which he has actually predicted you to be the person who's going to bring a lot of changes in this country in architecture. So best wishes to you on this.
Thank you. So, Ashu bhai, actually, I'll tell you a very small story. Every time I used to go abroad, my ticket was upgraded to business or first class by Vashu bhai. And he used to do that directly with my assistant. So I reached on the airport and I saw my Emirates ticket is upgraded to first class. So for the first time, I'm sitting in the first class. So I told him, this is not done. I'm not used to it because I started my air travel at the age of 32. Before that, there was no money. So, and then thereafter, I have done more than 200 trips. But then he actually forced me to habituate for this business class. And then he said, I'm doing it on purpose that you should get used to this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. And then we did few wonderful projects for him.
So that project on the left where you have these cantilevers coming in.
Yeah, so one is at Khar, the second is at Juhu, the third one is his own house at Turner Road. So he has got a pentoplex there. And he actually changed the way I look at business,
Right.
the relationships. And he actually connected me to so many people from, of course, from film industry. He is king there. Film industry to business community, and so many clients he sent to me. And the best part of Ashu bhai, you are an architect. He always used to tell the client, go to Vivek, my responsibility, but go with the check.
I was coming to that. Although he taught you business or he's taught you all that, Vivek, there's one quality which you have maintained. You have always kept architecture above everything. You kept architecture about money, you kept architecture about, because that's your God, that's the way you're going about it. So he keeps referring about it. He keeps saying that, there's one person who check leke jana because wo mangega nahi. वो check leke jana is not because you will ask for money, check leke jana because Vivek will not ask for anything.
Yeah. So then this was my first ever media appearance.
Nice.
Before that, I never accepted any award. I never put anything in any magazine. So Times of India approached us, and this was a 4-page coverage they offered. And they, in the prelude function, a day before that publication, they had this gathering of 600 developers, and they had a very big function only dedicated for us. So that is the
dedicated
Sir
to only
Vivek Bole.
Vivek Bole.
So that, and in fact, they told that in the function that from tomorrow your life is going to change, and that happened.
Acha.
So we did very interesting projects, diverse portfolios. But then somebody approached me for this project at Vasai. So my client said he had only budget of 1,000 rupees per square feet, 1 crore 80 lakh rupees for 18,000 square feet. And this particular complex is dedicated to people who have got suicidal tendencies.
Right.
It's a rehabilitation center.
Right. Very good.
So you can see those windows.
Yeah, I was about to tell you that it has a very particular
You cannot
feature.
escape from them because
Yeah.
these people, they have got those tendencies to run away.
Yet you can have the light and ventilation
Yes.
come through, and at night it looks like a beautiful basic design composition.
Yes, and there is no additional lighting. This is the lighting which is percolating from inside out.
Right.
So it's not the facade lighting. Facade lighting is minimal.
And I also have to appreciate, and I would like to bring it to everybody's notice, the grooves are all in line with the.
Yes, they enhance the geometry.
Correct.
So
Correct.
it's a composition.
And that's a detail. That's
Yes.
a detail that adds into the elevation.
So when we started this, I wanted some typical windows kind of system, but then I thought it is not going to work out because
Right.
the structure was monotonous.
Right.
If you see the form, it's a flat form.
Yes.
So and it's a small building. So then I took that inspiration from Mondrian and
Right.
did that.
If it was completely grey, and if you had those rivets, it could have been Tadawando.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tata.
Yeah, I know.
So with minimal budget, they could do this. Possibly now, if they go for any further extension which they are planning for, then we'll also go for more finishing outside the building.
I hope they go for it because mental illness is an important
Yes, yes.
issue now.
In fact, I visited this place just one month back, not 1 month, 2 months back in the pandemic,
Oh,
and because of the leakages, those are happening there. Because the waterproofing has failed, the contractor, you don't get contractor outside
Correct.
Mumbai limits, So they called me, and then we now doing the treatment there. So I saw even today, the hospital is full, capacity is full.
capacity.
Yeah.
That's a need.
So this is one very interesting project. Although I don't call it very successful, but then this is very important, very close to my heart. This is where actually the mall culture started in Mumbai. So this client of mine, he approached me, and we were doing one very small project for him in Parel, not Parel, Parla, and then it was actually so small, tiny, almost like 600 square meter or so. And then he had ventured into this very prestigious plot at Irla, and he wanted the mall. Now people could not understand what is mall. They took a lot of time, and in that phase, brokers and the estate agents, they actually spoiled the whole
Yeah.
concept. And then they had big investors and brokers group, and they used to guide architects. So there were only 3-4 architects in Mumbai, and we all had only those teachers, the same teachers. And we were threatened those days, that if you don't do it, I'll go to him.
Somebody else.
Okay. And then, but then for this project, he asked me whether I've done any mall. I said no. But the faith and the goodwill, that worked for me very well throughout my career. So he took me to Dubai. So that was my first trip to abroad. And we visited all those malls there. Second trip to Gunjau, and then Jakarta, Malaysia, and at the time of finishing, we again went to see the detailing, study the detailing of malls, and that time it was a very long trip. So we went to Beijing, Shanghai, again Guangzhou, Hong Kong, and almost like 8 days we saw 60 or 70 odd malls, and then from detailing point of view, one of the best place, but because it is not the right, mall design. Mall requires something different. Right. This is more of a shopping center. And people actually misunderstood the whole concept.
Correct.
But then this is what triggered my career into mall.
Sure.
Okay. So then the opportunities.
There we go. That's the one.
Yeah.
The big one.
The big one. So this, and then thereafter we got flood of malls. So this is the biggest one, 1.4 million square feet at Bhandup, and very interesting concept. So we started with those nodal points. We have got a junction of LBS Road and Station Road. So on one side Bhandup Station, on the other side LBS Road. We had a shortcut spine in between.
So to increase the footfall also.
To increase the footfall.
Nice.
And actually that worked. People used to cross from that on the LBS.
Right.
So we had those atriums. All the shops were facing atriums. But then the investors and brokers, they cut those big shops into small shops for their own purpose, and then the mall will die for sure. Mall is something which need to be leased all across the world. That is the concept.
Right.
The mall needs to be leased and to be maintained.
Right.
So if you make a sale module, it will fail for sure. And with 140,000 square foot of carpet area footprint, so then it's like you have got 800 shops. Right. In smaller size, and what will you sell, So, but then this was the best example. Why I'm showing you this? Because this is the first mall where we started experimenting those facades.
Right.
All across the world, and in India for sure, all the 100% malls we visited had those facades which were pseudo facades. So people make those redundant elements, aesthetical elements to give the character. So I didn't want to do that. So we actually experimented with those elements, whether the elements are for commercial purpose, maybe front lid or back lid, or maybe a shop display area, right. And then atriums. Only those elements are highlighted, and every element in the facade becomes functional. So we started doing these kind of malls, and at any given time 35 to 40. So this is Moksha Plaza in Borivali, and when we launched this was like 1,25,000 rupees per square feet with 100% super built up, something phenomenal. And this was a successful sale model because it is in front of your Borivali station. So people come from Palghar to shop there. And then we recently completed C21 and Mallar in Indore. So now this trend has started where the refurbishment of the old malls are coming up.
Okay.
So we are doing a lot of these malls like this. So right from external facade, the external facade is fully wiped out. You won't recognize the original one and the new one. So the original was totally redundant. We removed all those redundant elements. And then this is the interior. So we completely redone the interior. This is one very, very important project we did. We learnt a lot from this, and I'm still hopeful that this will complete soon because my RCC is complete. This is one of the biggest mall in South. So this is almost like 2 million square feet. And this is where actually, Gaurish, the trend shifted. Why I'm showing you this project, this is not a completed one. I'm showing you this project because of certain purpose.
Right.
This is where I came to understanding that all across the India, FSI was increasing. So we started with 1.33 FSI and it increased to 2.5, then it went to 3.25. And initially we had only ground plus 3 mall. So we had triple basement and ground plus 3 was part. It became ground plus 5 and then the FSI again increased and then we had those towers popped up and we have got 240 rooms, traders, that is Shangri-La, and then serviced apartments and then office tower. Everything is now complete. So RCC is finished. So that started this new trend in our office for doing this composite mixed use kind of development.
So let me ask you this so you had a vision that there would be an increase in FSI and hence you would have all the necessary elements done before
So
that?
you learn from your mistakes. So initially I didn't have. But then I learned my lesson and all my future projects I kept that arrangement and it helped. Every time it helped. Not a single time it got wasted. Okay, and even in Mumbai, every year you will see there is somewhere the FSI is increasing. It becomes really challenging for the architects. And the developers, they will always be commercial minded. And they will not let you waste that FSI. So then it becomes really a challenge for the architect to maintain the balance between good architecture and that haphazard architecture, And
and you need to keep that vision up, You need to be that saying that, there's going to be a development change in this. And as an architect, you need to foresee that.
Yes. And then
That's true.
like this project, this is again a mixed use development, almost like 4.5 million square feet in Bhopal. This is a very prime location at TT Nagar, Bhopal. So that is the completed picture in the right hand corner.
Right.
And this has got high-end residential. We have got 3 lakh square foot of a floor plate of shopping area. And we have got 7 lakh square feet each, 2 commercial towers. We have got a 5-star hotel and lots of other activities inside that small compact development. Now, the problem with Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, we are very active in these 2 states. They give you FSI which you cannot consume. You in Mumbai, with, all the developers, they are blamed that they are doing this fraud for FSI. There you don't need to. Even in Hyderabad, it's unlimited. So this is some similar case. So they give you so much of FSI, you don't know what to do with it. And here also,
it's a complex project. It's very easy to say, well, it's a mall and then there's blah
Yes,
blah,
yes.
but you have to integrate everything.
I
Plus
can
look
give
at the
you
traffic,
1.5 hours presentation on this project.
Oh, well, I-
So all the entrances were separate. There is no nuisance of one activity from other.
Correct.
And then this is the first 22-story tower. Bhopal has got those kothis, So when we designed 22-story, they said they don't have that firefighting system. So the developer had to donate 2 fire tenders with snorkels to the fire department, and then they got the permission. So for the first time, we got this kind of development in Bhopal.
Nice.
And then this is one completed project, something similar. So this project came to me with again Vashubhai's reference. Many of these projects they came through some reference.
Sure.
Okay, so Vashubhai has got very big role to play here. So he sent me this client and he came up with the drawing and he said we have to make the elevation. I said, but this is not practically possible. He said, yes, my structural engineer is now saying this need to be changed. So I'll tell you what mistake people do. Now you have got atrium, a 4-storied atrium. On top of it, you are putting a multiplex. Multiplex is again column free area, and the end column, the corner column, it's inside the atrium, and the architects are insisting to float it. Now the structural engineers are helpless. Say if they say no, they will be thrown out of the project. So they try, but who will bear the penalty? The client. Finally, everything is possible with some added cost. So we designed this in 3 days, literally 3 days, and everybody accepted the design. He got it approved within 2 days. This is the beauty of Rajasthan. He called me. He said, "It is approved, sir." I said, "How is that possible? I haven't given you even the detailed design." He said, "But we got the approval." And then the project started within 15 days, and then it got completed. And it's a successful mall there, very happening place, and we have got Radisson Green on top of it. So see, if you noticed, all these malls are having that 5-star hotel above them, and that is how we entered into hotel. Hospitality, hotels. Yes, yeah. So that is, we drifted, our practice drifted, and then this is one more example. This is again 2.7 million square foot layout at Udaipur, tallest residential tower in Udaipur in those days, and a mall, 8 lakh square foot of a mall, and a hotel, again a 5-star hotel, and it's a mixed use development. So these kind of projects gave us this opportunity to design.
Correct. I think it was one step at a time which you climb up and you reach to
Yes.
the next level.
People
That's
will
nice.
not change their architect. So we were not experts. We became experts.
Yeah.
So we had meeting with so many brands those days, and every brand used to say, "No, we have got our own panel." But how can we change the architect who has designed the whole structure? Okay, so then we entered into
This
this
looks interesting.
segment. Yeah, so this is a very interesting project. So this is a island inside the lake.
Oh.
Okay, and somehow, because I'm taking this building, but then every room you see the lake. Okay, and we have got those 80 rooms in that, and we started with the character of the fort and the masonry of the fort,
Right.
and we have used that character everywhere, inside as well as outside.
Oh, nice.
So even the interior has got the similar, and you
The
will,
look and feel is the same that travels through.
yes. So there is no redundancy. That is a load-bearing wall we have used.
Right.
Okay. And we use all the local labors, local material, and in a low budget, it's a fantastic 5-star property. Then we completed this last year, and very interesting 110 rooms Novotel on one side. We have got the biggest banquet in the central India, that is 40,000 square feet carpet, and we have got a clubhouse of 4.5 lakh square feet. So
That was a 4.5 lakhs.
yeah, a clubhouse of 4.5 lakh square feet. And it's a 32-acre property completed now, almost at the finishing stage. The clubhouse is at finishing stage. Others 2 structures are at operational this thing. But then it has got 9 whole golf course. And the whole thing started with a vision of 170-acre township. So we have already designed that township.
But this was the most.
But
that
this
happened
has
first.
completed, and the township is yet to be started. Then something similar. This was a pure mall at Goregaon. This is at the junction of MG Road and Link Road.
Link Road.
A 655 feet frontage, and we wanted to go for a lease model. And we have central atrium. We call it hammer model in technical terms, where on both the sides of the atrium you have got those big anchors,
Anchor shops.
and then you have got multiplex and all your food courts at the second and third
Right.
floor, which is a very successful model. You must have seen all
the
across the
malls.
world. Yeah, all the malls. So this was a typical good model, and then that parking FSI came. You make parking, you hand it over to MCGM, and the developer, he asked us to develop that into that 3317, whichever class, and then we, you see those parking floors, the podium on top of the mall. So we constructed that. Now the mall is already ready, and we added this FSI. So we strengthened the raft. We had some provision. My experience. Okay. So we had some provision. So we got one commercial tower on top of it. Okay. And we constructed up to 8th floor. Then the commercial market was in bad shape. So my client started discussion with Hyatt, and we completed the whole design for Hyatt. And this was supposed to be the biggest Hyatt in Mumbai. And then we had the the shifting girder, shifting plates casted at 8th floor level. It's a big floor plate and 3.2 meter thick shifting plate. Because now the lower grade of the at the mall needs to be shifted on the upper levels. And then once it was over, he said now he wants residential building. So this is supposed to be the most premium residential building in suburbs. We have got all 4-bedroom and lavish 3-bedroom apartments, and we have got amazing amenities inside it. Olympic-sized swimming pool, and almost 60,000 square feet of a clubhouse. So it was supposed to be a 5-star property. So it is still going to be a 5-star property.
Still a 5-star property.
So,
but it's been a challenge for you to perhaps change from one to the other and travel in metamorphosis into so many
I always tell my client, now whenever you have got time, sufficient time, you think of one warehouse as well. That is one only left. So, see, this is again very interesting project. Many of my YouTube, those they are already uploaded. There is this client of mine, Mr. Gangaramani. So I visited him with Vashubai. Vashubai introduced him to me, and then he was designing this with one Canadian architect. And they showed me the plan, and I suggested them few changes. He asked me, so I suggested a few changes. So now those architects are good friend of mine, but then they said they will take 7 days. So I'm an impatient guy.
I know.
So me and Vashubai, we went on one shooting in Dubai that evening. So there was shooting going on. A movie song was being recorded, and I was working on my laptop while going. In the morning, I was ready with the design, and the client was zapped. And you will listen the whole story on YouTube.
He's very, very candid and very, very clear about that. How you just walked in and you showed them and you got the solution like this. That's amazing.
So sometimes I really love to do this. Whenever I get opportunity.
Every time you like it.
And that is how we settled in Dubai. So we started office with him, and those days Dubai was flourishing like anything, and he was working on 60 real estate projects. They were one of the biggest contractor there with 12,000 people working under him. And then we started a firm together and we did few works. But then, after that Dubai collapsed, we lost some money. We worked a lot for other developers as well. But then we are waiting for our chance. Dubai is a place where you can do all the experiments.
Absolutely.
So this was in Jumeirah South Village. I don't really work in this style. Okay, this is a French chateau. But then the master planning requirement was like this. So we got CNBC award for the best residential for this project in 2008.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Then this is one interesting project. We started this project on site. We could not finish, but it has got very important place in my portfolio. So we did this, we designed this for Shil Pandey. He was closely connected with Sahara Group. So we designed this in Ambe Valley, and we made a model of this. And then we had a launching, and the launching they did with the brand name Lifetime Villas. And then we started designing almost 30 different villas for different people. and these people were involved in execution of those villas. And the inauguration was done by Saharashri. So Subrata Roy, he himself cut the ribbon and he saw the model. He was actually very impressed. He was doing Reiki almost like 15-20 minutes on model itself. And then the chapter got closed. And then after almost like 3-4 years, he planned the biggest project in Ambivali, that was Queen Villa. So he had a competition, all the big guys and those who were already working with him, they all participated.
Chance,
And then they had all those drawings ready, and he said he's not liking anything of it. So he called Shil Pandey, who was that architect who designed your villa. So I want him to give the job. So they asked me for a concept. We refused. We don't participate this way. So they offered us the advance for the designing, and we accepted the job. And they called me for the presentation to the CEO, Vivek Kumar. And I was not prepared. I entered the conference and 60 people were sitting in that conference, and Saharashri was on the extreme end of the table. I had to present to Saharashri instead of the CEO. And then once I presented the concept of the Queen Villa, which is this, okay, and I got 60 variants of this, 60 variants, because the layout was big.
Right.
And I got a standing ovation from Saharashri. Okay, and within 15 days, he signed us for the biggest contract of Sahara's history. Now, I cannot tell you this, but then because it never materialized, we got our advance, we got every penny, every rupee we worked for, and then we celebrated our success in Dubai. So we took complete office in Dubai, we celebrated, and then you know the rest of the story. Okay.
But there is a change from these tall buildings and malls,
Yes,
and then
yes.
you come down. So I'm happy to note that you are looking at all aspects.
No, see what happened, whenever we got new project, now you are not expert, you are not experienced, but then you take it as a challenge and you have to prove that you are the best in that.
Right.
And that one opportunity you will always get.
Absolutely.
And you have to see to it that the opportunity is justified.
But that comes from intent and heart.
Yes.
That does
So,
not come from a malicious mind to say I have to grab the opportunity. You have to be clear in your heart.
so if you check the first mall, if you check my first interior, which was Om Jewelers, it was similar.
Yeah.
It became the sensation in Borivali. Then like this villa, and then we had lot of work in this Ambivali thereafter. Something similar happened with even high-rise towers. So we used to do this kind of residential buildings. These are very neat, clean, residential buildings. Very matured architecture, but then it's kind of affordable housing.
More of that.
But this is supposed to be the costliest building in Mahavir Nagar, Kandivali.
moment, yes.
20,000 rupees is the suburban rate. I don't know. But then we did this kind of project. These are all, I did 300 of these kind of residential projects completed.
They have got some character to it.
Yes. Now on the left hand side, that is in Borivali, Tattva Gitanjali. So I have got National Park View. So the requirement was every apartment should have National Park View.
Right.
This is the most successful project for them and that area.
Right.
Believe me, not a single apartment is left after 2 months of launching. So, and then they took years to build it. That is not my fault. But then,
That's a market.
yes. But then, even this, the right hand side, Satra Park,
Right.
we did lot of work for this developer, and this is supposed to be the one of the most successful project in Borivali. So thereafter, like big developments, Aristo, Heaven, Mulund. So again, this project came from this client. Starting was very, very small, 430 square meter plot in Hasnabad. Okay. So he came with the challenge that his previous architect and his licensing architect were not being able to come to some, acceptance of the plan.
Right.
So this is a major problem, and the plot was L-shaped. 430 meter L-shaped plot, fitting a building is a difficult job. You certainly require expert for that, and somehow we believe that we are good at it.
Yes, you know the game, how it works.
Because you have done it repetitively so many times.
And you're the expert, so you will have a solution.
So I told him, if you have got 30 minutes, I'll give you the plan.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. You can talk to this person. I took 35 minutes. I gave him a printout. And he was again skeptical. He said, I should go to his licensing architect's office and convince him. I said, there is no need to convince. This plan is approvable. And second day, the licensing architect is very dear friend of mine, Kinnar.
Yeah.
Kinnar called me, Vivek, this is fantastic plan. This is approvable. Now this client said, Vivek, I'm trying to fit this plan for last so many days, in fact months, and you did it in 35 minutes. So can you do this? So we got this project. And abroad, everybody has got that fancy of having an architect from abroad.
Yeah.
He had eventually nothing of abroad. So this is pure Desi architecture.
Right. Desi successful architecture. Contextual architecture.
So we actually started, if you see, there are 7 sectors.
Right.
So those 4 towers, that is little affordable compact sector that we started. Then there is one middle sector of 5 towers that we already started. And where there is a mall right now, we started this high-rise building called Siesta.
Oh.
Instead of a mall, the client decided to go for this building. Now, very peculiar building, high-rise 46-story tower. But then the footprint of the parking is exactly the footprint of the tower. And when you have got a tower above, the columns actually disturb your parking.
Yeah.
You need to have efficient parking.
Yes.
You don't need to float. So, believe me, not a single column floated there. And we have used a Caesar ramp with slope of 1:30. Okay, and we have achieved an efficiency of 34 square meter per car. So, which is a fantastic efficiency, and without compromising onto the residential plan. So, it's a project where again we can discuss in length. But I'm showing you this project for certain reason.
But also the fact that you have been able to again get a character to the building.
Yes.
After having all these things taken care of,
somehow
it's not like it's just sitting there.
Okay, I'll tell you that is different philosophy I follow. I consider residential building as a formal shirt. You don't need to do those jari booty on that. It is not a festive, clothing, and it is also not a casual clothing which you wear on the beach.
Right.
It's a formal shirt, so it needs to be functional,
Correct.
neat, clean. Okay, and if you see, all the elements are functional elements. I don't add a single redundant element unless there is some reason to it.
Right.
Okay, so and then when it comes to that symbolic kind of architecture or something like where let's say a resort, now you need different character there. People go there for 2 days.
Right.
Even if you make him sit on a wooden bench, he's happy. It's not comfortable, but he has to sit only for a few minutes and use it only for 2 days. So he's happy with it. You put that same bench in his living room, it is not going to work. So that character, that architecture is different architecture. You want to take him into different environment.
Right.
So it can have those redundancies, it can have those different characters. It's like festive clothing. So this is
Well put.
so this is the first completed towers of my office. So we are working on more than 80 high-rise towers, 50-story plus. So I can count on fingers like 12 towers in BDD alone, or maybe 28 towers for Rustomjee. We are doing already 2 towers, so the 30 altogether maybe. Then we are doing for Aristo, we are doing more than 16 towers,
Right.
and then for Rohan we are doing few towers. Then for ANO we are doing 3 towers. So altogether we are doing more than 80 towers right now.
Nice.
So this is the first one to get complete, and this is the most celebrated also. We got 57 international awards for this.
Right.
So right from the best high-rise building in the world, and we got this award repetitively. We received this award in London. We got the Bloomberg Award in Malaysia. So number of awards, and the main reason why we got the award, form follows function. No redundancy at all. Whatever you see in this building is functional.
This building has, I have seen this presentation of yours, where you have articulated every element and you have yourself sat down to work with the structural engineer. You have sat down yourself to see that every element is fitted into it to its correctness.
So this is what I believe, that architect need not be just architect.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yes. So architect has to be a good structural engineer, a good landscape architect,
Correct.
a good interior designer, everything. And even
And
a
you
good
should know the
facade
services.
consultant as well.
And the services to be aligned,
Yes.
the services to be aligned so that every terrace, in this particular thing, that openness, the terrace
So
which comes out.
I'll tell you how it works. We go in detail, in depth, and we give intent drawings to our consultants.
Right.
So if you remember, you have worked with me on one landscape
Yes.
project.
Yes.
I insisted on certain geometry.
Yes.
Now it is not certainly my area, but then we give our consultants something to start with,
Correct.
and we give them full liberty. They can completely forget that and start afresh, or they can carry it forward.
Correct.
There is certain thought process which needs to be carried
Taken
forward.
through. Correct.
And here you have seen that presentation.
Yeah.
The structural element, every structural element has got more than two purposes. It is supporting some cantilever and it is giving privacy to some terrace.
That's right.
Okay, so those kind of elements we design right at the beginning stage, anticipating that 14 feet of cantilever will require a bracket below, and I can use that bracket as a screening element for the terrace.
There is.
So these are the completed pictures.
And I'm sure that when you present this, it will be a thesis of its own, because it's a complete project from an architect's point of view.
Yes,
And
there
I'm
are
sure
so
that
many
all
things.
the 80 buildings, all the 80 high-rises will also have the same involvement of yours to see
Yes,
that
so
it gives that particular
believe me,
personality.
all the mistakes which I wanted to do or I didn't want to do, but then happened. You won't find many, but they are there.
That's why we are having this session where the master speaks not only of what his achievements are, but is also candid enough to speak about those mistakes
So,
and how you rectify.
Yes, you
and
can-
that's why it's called practice.
So
You have to learn from it.
exactly, and in fact, you learn maximum from the mistakes and mistakes done by others. In fact, there was an occasion when my client took me to Dubai, and he said, "Vivek, you have made a big blunder." So I said, "What is my fault?" He said, "You have got only 4 feet passage in the house. We have got 6,000 square feet of house. Only 4 feet passage, and I need certain type of balcony." So I said, "Okay." So I flew to Dubai, and he took me to some site, under construction site on 60th floor, and the site engineers were there, and he showed me a sample pad. He said, "Wait, I need at least this much of width." So I said, "Okay, how much is the length of this corridor?" So they put the tape and they said 30 feet. So I said, "My passage is only 16 feet. Okay, and my passage is exactly this much in width." So he said, "Not possible." I said, "Measure 1.2 meter. See, you don't need 5 feet passage inside the house. You are not going to run a marathon inside it. You are going to walk." And then he said, "Oh, we have got only this much. So then it's fine." And then he said, "But I want a railing like this." I said, "Okay, I have given you this drawing." "Yeah, I know you're right, but this is different." So I showed it to the engineer. He said, "It is same." And then on the third day of our visit, so he will listen or see this interview someday. On the third day of the visit, he's a nice gentleman, a very dear friend of mine. So we visited a factory, Alabar, and he told those guys, "My architect is the most knowledgeable person. Whatever he says, I'm agreeable."
So it's giving the power of attorney straight away.
And then certainly institutional projects.
Yeah,
So when you get 100 residential projects in Mumbai, you get one residential institutional. So that is the proportion. We have got ample opportunity to get residential because that is the demand necessity in Mumbai. but hardly any institutional. So you get outside. So we won this competition this is a Center of Excellence at Jaipur on left-hand side corner. Then this is DPS Gwalar already completed. This BM Engineering at Nagpur we have completed. And UPSCA is the institute. Now the first phase is complete at Abu Road. And we did many, but then I'm showing this few right now for certain reasons. Center of Excellence, as I said, we won the competition, architectural competition. And now the first phase is complete. Already my plans are sanctioned for past 5 years, but then they have got different requirements,
Right.
Then this is one project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is one project which is completed in 4 years. So we started this 110-acre institute, started as engineering college and ended into a university.
Right.
And we have got management college, we have got school, we have got international school, and now they are even planning for architecture and medical college. And we have got almost like 900 students hostel. And the whole layout, that is the picture there, and there's the completed
Even
picture.
this client of yours he speaks very highly of you, very highly.
Yes, and again, he is the client. Now you will have to believe this. He asked me, which are the institutes you completed? I said, none. Okay. He insisted me to do this design. And then he said, only one thing is there. I'll have to study with him, the institute. So he took me to Hubli. He took me to Belgaum on separate trips. He took me to Symbiosis, Pune, and one trip to Singapore.
NUS.
Yes.
National Institute.
And we actually studied together. Now he's a learned guy, he's a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
So we did it together, knowing that I haven't done a single institute. My first project with him, and he insisted me to design, and we are still working together.
Nice.
Okay. And this is something I'm very lucky with, that my clients, they have got full faith in me, and I could maintain very long relationship with them, and not by charging less. That is very, very important. Okay, but then this is very
I
successful
have
project.
to come back again. You don't charge less, but you don't even ask for money. That's what the clients all say.
So I got a detailed presentation. I'm going to do one presentation in our Sathes College
Okay.
day after tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Okay, on this project. So it's a 100 slides presentation, and I'll tell you a very peculiar part of that presentation. So this is at the foothills,
Right.
and there is lot of flooding. You will see that lake on the side. Okay, and we designed the building in such a way. There were hills. We used the contours in such a way that last year, last day only, or sometime, the whole Kolhapur was flooded.
Yeah.
This college was not. It was absolutely safe. And in my presentation, there is one post on Insta by one student 1 year back, and saying the heaven and the architecture is here. Okay.
Nice.
So
Yeah, this I remember.
okay, this is where my practice in government project started. I was working with this client, again a friend of mine. Again, that relationship of faith is tremendous. And though in those days he used to be a small-time contractor, and he came to me. He got this project of 4.5 crore rupees, not big, 4.5 crore rupees. And he said, Vivek, I'm not being able to execute it because the MD of Western Railway is not liking the design done by the architect.
Right.
Now I don't remember the name of the architect, but then in those days this design and build practice was not there.
Right.
People used to take item rate contract. So he insisted, and I designed. So I don't have any other image of this project because this is very, very old. And then we took the drawings to MD. So that in those days, chief engineer was Mr. Sachan, who is handling all the metros and big projects now, and Mr. Garg. Those two chief engineers, they came with me in MD's cabin, and we had those bunch of all options prepared by the previous architect or the architect on board. and me as a contractor's architect. And the MD literally was annoyed. He started throwing one by one all of them down, and finally his patience
Ran out.
got
So he
out,
picked up.
and he just threw the whole bunch which was in his hand down. And then I saw that he didn't see my design.
Right.
So I used to carry palm top those days.
Ah.
So I showed him the image. I said this. So he said, yes, why don't you propose something like this? So I said, you just threw that down. So I removed it and showed him, and then he said, yes, I wanted this. And this is how we did this project. The only sad part of it, the department only carried out the ground plus one story. That project looks incomplete. If you see, the main character is above, the geometry is above.
That's right.
So the existing Bandra terminus looks half. Inside the spaces are grand, and you will see the span, and everything is good. But then I still feel when it gets completed, it will be much better.
At least this particular slide will tell us that the intent was what it is, and due to some circumstances, what has happened.
Yes.
So,
So
as an architect, there would be heartburn seeing
yes,
this.
always. I
I-
try not to look at it. Okay. Then that gave us further leads, and then we did recently, not very recently, maybe 8-10 years back, these 12 railway stations in Mumbai. So right from Dadar, Andheri, Kurla, even Thane, and this was a project funded by World Bank for avoiding trespassing. So all those escalators and elevators or those FOBs, footwear bridges, you see on all these new railway stations, the new patterns, whatever you like, designed by us.
Yeah.
So somehow what happened, now you see that FOB design,
Yeah.
they have now started using it as a standardized design of railways. Now they don't need architect, they have got the design. So they are using it left, right and center. Then we did a lot of the skywalks for MMRDAs. Few of them are super successful.
Yeah.
And we actually gave them the basic of how to design it.
Right.
So they were making very monotonous the concrete structures and how to make them modern, but they're with the budget constraints, of course. In India, we have always got that budget constraint. So many of them are like iconic, like that one in the right corner.
Right.
So we again designed it for J. Kumar Infra, the same client of mine for whom we did that Bandra
But have they
terminus.
done that?
Yeah, they completed it.
right
Yeah,
side
it's there in docket.
Oh, okay.
So again, the architect designer must be somebody else. We designed it for J. Kumar. Then this is one competition we won in 2012. This is a mini secretariat. This plot is 140 acres, by the way. So you can guess the expanse of the plot. So 140 acres, and this is the total development of 5,800 acres. So the total urban planning we did, and the mini secretariat, and the project started on site, and then the government changed. So we are waiting for the same government which was changed that time to again take this ahead, and we are hopeful that it will start again. So one block, triangular block, was started 7-8 years back. Then this is one competition we fought very hard. When people look at the success of government projects or the competitions which are won, I would certainly like to tell all those people that you have to invest a lot of your energy, time and money into the competitions which you have not won.
Correct.
And you have to compensate that everything into that few projects which are with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though my design was the best and the department, the user department actually fell in love with it, competition is won by somebody else.
Yeah.
Because whenever there is QCBS, this is the sad part of our architecture practice, the QCBS, somebody quotes very low fees, 0.28% somebody quoted, and then the project goes to him.
Goes there.
So, but then we actually worked on this. This was very interesting development. And after somebody won that competition, believe me, for the fourth time, the tender is still on. Now it was floated by NBCC those times. Now it is by CPWD. So the story will go on. but this is one very serious competition we won.
Yeah.
So this is again open competition, international competition. 30 people participated in it, and this is supposed to be the biggest urban renewal project, or you can say biggest real estate project in whole of India.
Oh.
So right now I'm measuring to approximately 28 million square feet, and in the heart of Mumbai, Worli.
Right in the middle. Yeah.
Yep, and for the first time, government is going to do those 73-story sail towers.
So they are doing it themselves.
Yeah, government is my client, and all those 22-story towers what you see are for rehabilitating the BDD residents.
Oh. Okay.
You know, and this is going to be the development of its kind. So we have already started work on site, and because of pandemic, something was holding on. Now again on 18th, we are starting
Full-fledged.
This is a very interesting project. So this is again a competition. We won. This is at Mandi, Himachal Pradesh.
From housing, and then you went into hospitality, and then you went to institutions, and now you're suddenly into spiritual.
So the brief was to design a place where tourists will be able to see all the 12 Jyotirlingas in one place. And then there was an orientation center, and then a big food court, and then we have got accommodation there. And the site is a very steep hill.
Right.
So very picturesque site. We have got a river on 3 sides, and then a hill, and there is one statue of Shivji, 110-feet statue, which is visible right from the foothill. So from the road itself, from very long distance, it has got a view. So right now the project is, at the tendering stage, and we have been given a deadline to float the tender in this month. And I think that's it.
That's so nice. So from 1993 to 2020, we have seen the practice moving in a very, very organic manner from one sector to the other sector. I'm sure that it must have been a satisfying thing.
Certainly it is satisfying.
So my next question to you is, what is the next that we are going to look for from your office? What is it that remaining that you want to?
So right now, see, the satisfaction of the architect, is like when your creativity is going to be used by number of people. You make a small villa, it will be used by one user. Okay, you make a public building, going to be used by so many users. Right. So how you influence more number of people's life? You make a convention center, fantastic. Any public building or any building where people are going to actually enjoy that space. Right. So certainly I would get more satisfaction in those.
So there's one question which comes to me, because being an architect, you are primarily a leader. So you're leading your office, you're leading and giving certain things to certain consultancy, certain expertise, certain value, certain knowledge to your client. And in general, you are the person who's also driving certain built forms to restructure society. So tell me something about what are your views on leadership? Leadership as an architect, what do you see yourself as?
Okay. Every architect has got some limitation of sizing his practice just because of the term leadership. Okay, how many people you can really lead, or how many clients you can handle at a time? It is one and same.
Right.
So in our practice, we have to handle two types of people. On one side, your assistant, your staff. On the other side, your clients.
Right.
And of course, they are subordinates. So how you influence them? Leadership is nothing but influencing people. And then there are different levels of leadership. The basic level always starts with what is inheritedly given to you. We are architects. So whatever we design, people are going to follow.
Right.
On client side. In fact, from consultant side also. We always say jokingly that we are demigods. Okay, we design and then the whole bloody force of 3,000, 5,000 people working on that one beam of yours to execute on site. So you are certainly have got that power of a god. But then leading a big team, you have to actually go to the mentorship level. That is the last level of leadership, you know. And then you have to delegate your powers to such an extent, and we followed one policy in our office. So I call it Sainik se Senapati. So if you see my directors,
Right.
many of them join for 1,200 rupees per month.
Right.
Okay, many of my team leaders, project managers, they were draftsmen, they were office boys.
Right.
You know, they are holding very important post here. My receptionist became a development manager.
Right.
My office boy became an IT manager. So if you can do that with people, you are changing their life. So that is the highest level of leadership. That is what I feel.
Very true. Very true. Very true. So it's very important for you as a leader to be holistic in your approach. That's very nice. So this comes to one very important question: is that you are very passionate about technology. Very passionate. I see that. I've seen you over this period of time where you have always upgraded, and your approach to technology is that get the latest and apply it. So tell us something about this passion for technology and this passion for something that we know you for is parametrics.
Okay, parametric, again, I'll show you some presentation, but before that, I'll certainly like to tell you and even the viewers that future is nothing but digital. Okay, if you are not digitally equipped, you are actually uneducated.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is a very big statement I'm doing.
Yeah, very
Now,
strong
what happens? All the successful architects so far, many of them, they don't know how to operate AutoCAD. But operating AutoCAD will not help you. Now the thing has gone beyond anybody's reach. Now the softwares have become smarter. So the softwares have become smarter, and then you need to be even smarter than them. So how do you become smarter than the softwares? So you don't stick to one software. You actually fuse them together smartly.
Right.
So I don't use one software. In one of my presentations, there is a slide where more than 120 softwares, how they are interlinked with each other, you know, and it is very, very important. So when we talk about parametric, then we go to a presentation.
Yeah, sure. So Vivek is a person who actually is ahead of a computer.
No, not exactly ahead of a computer.
No, if you have used the idea of blending the softwares together, I'm sure that it will bring the best out of each software.
Yeah, on one side you need to blend them together. On the other side, you need to customize each software to suit your needs.
Right.
Now, what has happened? Every software, they have given those software development kits or some provision of scripting, some interfaces where you can customize your software. I have seen users don't reach to that level.
Right.
And they still believe that they know 100%. And believe me, the use of a software is only 20%, customizing is 80%.
80%.
So in parametric, my experiment started in 2013.
Oh.
So I saw some presentation done by some Chinese architect. I was there with Reza there. And then we were impressed. And then we always say in those presentations, after those presentations, that these people use software very well. But who has stopped you from using them? Okay. So then I started thinking on those lines. I need to, experiment. And then after my back surgery, I was lying in the bed, and then this is a story I tell in almost every presentation, where I saw some TED presentation, and then immediately on the bed itself, I installed the software and started experimenting, because I was there on the bed for almost 1 month. So I tried to utilize that. After 1 month, I was quite, capable of handling a basic need of parametric. So we tried many experiments. We failed many experiments. Okay, and the reason why I failed in my initial experiments, because when people learn parametric, all those who work on parametric in India, all those names, they have done masters in parametric in abroad. Okay, their education, proper primary education is done. So I was experimenting. I was kind of self-learning it. So the mistake I did, anything which is designed on software cannot be executed by hand.
Right.
You need machinery for it. So I failed there. Then I further did my experiments and tried to achieve the exact connection between the softwares and the CNC machines. And then this was one of the boldest experiment I did in the initial phases.
Right.
So in 2017, after my two failed initial experiments in 2015 and 2016 on the same place, Aztec. So I actually designed this structure. So there are 930 planks in plywood, no nail, no glue, interlinked together, and 1.8 ton of load is transferred.
Oh.
Now, generally, what happens? You use plywood either vertical to transfer the load, or if you want to float the load on other member, you will at least use the member vertically,
Right.
like this, so that it doesn't buckle.
Right.
If you use it horizontally, it will buckle.
Yeah.
Plywood, 18 mm plywood, and 1.8 ton of total structure. So it buckled. But there is a certain system which I use. The force, there is a software which we used for that, and then we achieved this in 24 hours. So execution, I got 24 hours.
Wow.
Okay. Then I tried different materials. Next year I tried paper.
Achha.
So I use paper. This is not exactly paper, but this is sunboard.
Achha.
Okay, and
Nice.
I use sunboard as a structural material. Okay, so I actually calculated the strength, each and every member. So the 110 gram member can carry a load of 40 kgs. Okay, because it's a folded plate.
Correct.
You know, we have learned
You
that.
have built it.
So it's a folded structure, and then this was done again in 24 hours kind of thing. And then we use the parametric in different, product designs.
Oh, so this is designed for light fixtures.
Light fixtures, yes. So we are doing a lot of experiments on lighting, tiling, and now even in marble. So we are tied up with some marble manufacturers, and we are doing a lot of experiments. Then these are few initial experiments, like this is done for AIF residences. This is a high-rise building in Malad, and there is a lobby for it. So thanks to Khojem Chittalwala, he gave me that idea of that AIF logo and that wave you see in the background. Yeah. So he came for some facade of his hotel, and he asked me whether can you do it. So I said, yeah, I can do it. I designed it for him. Somehow his client didn't really accepted the idea, so I used it here. And those are actually small cylinders.
Oh, okay.
Of different lanes, giving you that feel of that logo and that wave.
Wave.
And then you can see that curvilinear roof, integrated lighting system, and the counter also. So parametric has got different aesthetics altogether, very futuristic.
Right.
But believe me, it is not costly. People have got this stereotype in their mind. It is not costly at all. It is not. That structure which you saw, I used to spend 3 lakh rupees, the Aztec lounges.
Right.
3 lakh rupees. And it's like 6 meter by 15 meter.
Yeah.
So it's negligible. So again, this is one lobby at Juhu. And this is one high-rise tower we are doing. I cannot disclose you, but already the work has started. So this is the tallest commercial building in Mumbai.
Achha.
60-storied and 3.5 million square feet. Okay, and this is done in steel exoskeleton.
Oh.
So the whole structure is designed in parametric, each and every mullion. And then this is one project we did for Steel Authority of India. It's an iconic steel tower, 350 meter tall. So it
But
is,
this is close to your heart, no?
yes, because it was a successful experiment as far as design is concerned.
Correct.
And Girish Dravid gave me fantastic support. So he designed that whole structural system for this,
Right.
and we are waiting for this to actually start. and this is taller than Eiffel Tower. And the whole design, you can see it's a very intricate detailing which is not possible manually. So this is the lighting system. And then few interiors, you can see that curvilinear boxed wall, just typical box we have arranged in such a way that it creates that enclosure for the conferences and the
Still have the
waiting.
transparency.
Yes, and then you can see that glass in between, and it is a two-dimensional curve
Right.
on both the sides and create that basket kind of shape,
Nice.
And then this is the latest one. So we are designing this in. Initially, we were planning this in a place called Kasum in Kosumi in Himachal Pradesh. Now the chief minister saw the presentation in this pandemic 15 days back, and he shifted it to Dharamshala. So we got the alternative site for this.
Okay.
And because he liked it so much, he said Dharamshala will have much better, tourist. Yeah. And this is where we are actually making those gardens for 28 states and 8 union territories. And every state flower will be placed there. And
That's how the movement has been.
yes.
taken.
So there are these 4 levels. You can see 4 different levels. That every level gets enough light and ventilation. In fact, natural light.
Right.
So the top view, you can immediately understand how each level is exposed to the sky. And again, the whole thing on algorithm, each and every element.
There you can see
Yes.
the extrusion that is there completely.
So this whole thing is again exoskeleton. So the structural frame is placed on that octagonal star shape, and then there is internal corridor which is inside the exoskeleton, and the petals are from the outside.
Right.
So they are counterbalancing each other. Again, Girish Dravid.
Oh, Girish. I'm sure he must also enjoyed all this.
When he saw this, I was skeptical. I said whether it is possible. He said this is the most balanced structure, and he gave me the detail. It's a 40 slides detailed presentation from him.
And that's how the spaces are.
Yes.
That's how the spaces are.
Yes, and then we have a few. This is the view from top, and then this is from the side, and this is from inside. So you can see the whole space because it's the exoskeleton. It's column-free structure, and those interlinking staircases are there. You can see those white elements. They are interlinking staircases, and it's a big plaza kind of exhibition or gathering space which is below. These people are planning to use it for functions, maybe some.
And you
Parties
have
also.
large amount of open space.
Yes,
Those
yes.
openings are also healthy enough.
It's
They're not
an open one.
Yeah.
So we discussed a possibility of enclosing that, and in fact we were not very convinced, and they accepted it. So
And the weather in Dharamsala is very good.
Yes,
So you
yes.
don't need to have this kind of, you don't need to enclose it. It can be open.
sure. And this is from the top side, and that's it.
Nice. That's been a fantastic presentation of parametrics, and I'm sure the most important statement that I take away, because I come from the education background, is that digital is the way to be.
Yes, in fact, if you see in abroad now, they are taking students right from the first year on digital,
Right.
and I think it's
Yeah, I know.
for
They are. So this comes to my most other important question: is that next is what in digital?
Okay. As I got 1 month in hospital, I started parametric, and I got this time 6 months. So imagine what I should have tried. So I thought I can design something whatever I imagine I can design now digitally, but the next part is visualization. So how to improve the visual? So I went on to virtual reality, and then there are multiple softwares like Lumion and Twinmotion,
Right.
and there are different platforms. So I studied that, and I decided to set up difficult most goal, and the option was Unreal Engine.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I started with very basic, and I came to understanding that Unreal Engine is a big team play.
Okay.
It's a gaming engine, and if you know Unreal Engine, most of the parents, they know Unreal Engine because
they've heard about it because the son or the daughter is doing that. Most of the time it's the son who is into PUBG or something.
Yes, exactly. So all these games, most of them are in Unreal Engine. So they make more budget and turnover than a super hit Hollywood movie.
Oh,
And the teamwork is bigger than movie. So we see that long list of
Names that
names
come in.
after a movie, but then it is even bigger than that. So I tried to get the hold of maximum part of it, and again I saw that you can do a terrain modeling, you can do material specifications, and you can write definitions for different subjects. You can create those environments, foliages. I had started with the most difficult. They call it blueprint.
acha.
And then because it was again software based, programming based, so I started with blueprint, and I designed my own elements first.
Acha.
And then
So you have that,
I'll show you one presentation on that. So what you see on the screen is this site which I am doing for that Shivdham.
Okay.
So I took 8 kilometer by 8 kilometer of a terrain from software called Blender. Okay, because you cannot get that big site from your Google Earth.
Right.
So I took it from Blender and I imported it into Unreal Engine, and then that water effect. The best part of Unreal Engine, it's real time rendering.
Right.
So everything is moving. Your trees are moving, and you can do anything inside it. So this is the kind of blueprint what you have to write. So this particular blueprint, and this is a very small part of one blueprint. This is not even 2%. So one blueprint is quite big, and this is written for the use of the helicopter. So what I thought, I'll make when you start the software, you come with the helicopter. So you are operating your own helicopter.
Right.
You land near that helipad, and then you take a car, and then you go where the drop-off is, and then you take a golf cart and move inside. So I first made those 3 elements.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? And then I wrote those definition myself because I wanted to learn. So there is always a provision where you can purchase ready-made.
Right.
But because I wanted to learn that programming, so I did that myself. And then I did those terrain modeling and foliage detailing. So right now I'm working on that. And I'll show you the first cut as soon as my design is frozen. I'm waiting for my design actually, Shivdham. And then we did few interiors, experiment on interiors. So you can move inside that space.
Right.
You know, you can change the color
So you
of
can
the
actually
sofa
make it
or
an
wood.
experience.
Yeah, and you can interact with it. So it's a game basically. So this is the other angle. So this is what right now going.
So Vivek, it has been a tremendous experience to talk to you, to find out what your thought processes are, your philosophies, the projects, the diversity of projects that you have, and the kind of use of technology. I'm sure that all of us would have been influenced to understand that when we have to take something away after having spoken to you, that would be of one, humility. With so much of frankness, you have been able to tell us about the mistakes, the hurdles that have come to you. We could also take away the determination that you have shown in every time you approach a design. What is the kind of determination to see that your client receives the right kind of solution? I think it's been a tremendous journey, and I'm sure that all of us would definitely be looking more from you, more from your office.
Sure.
Your vision, your foresight.
The
will
best
be
is
a
yet to come.
That's right. Your foresight and vision will definitely bring in more value to us. And I'm sure this profession of architecture is looking forward for more of indulgence from you at all points. So thank you so much, Vivek, for being a part of Master Speak and decoding you in the right sense. With technology, decoding you has been a great journey for me. So thank you so much for having. Any last statements that you want to tell our young viewers here?
Well, this is the very basic principle which I believe in, and I want everybody to follow. That the most important aspect of our career, of our life is attitude. And whenever I say attitude, there are three attitudes. One is attitude towards yourself, attitude towards others, and attitude towards your work. So when I say attitude towards yourself, you should not have those lacunas, you should not have complexes. Superiority complex, inferiority complexes, both are harmful. When we talk about others, you need to create that comfort factor with people, and you cannot show egos. Earning goodwill will always create more opportunities for you.
Right.
And we should be thankful to people who have influenced your life, those who have helped you, and that will always generate more opportunities for you. So this is a very big success formula, in fact. And then the last one is the most important. People, this is what my father used to tell me. आदमी प्यारा नहीं होता है, काम प्यारा होता है. So your work, you should have full faith in the work what you are doing. Somebody said, to be successful, you should say, I'll pay for what I do. Okay. So when you say, I don't ask for money, I'm actually ready to give money.
Yeah, I know.
If the project is of that kind, I'm ready to sacrifice. If that attitude is in you, now to dignify your profession, you cannot work free, that is for sure. But your attitude should be that you are working not for money, but for work. That hunger should always be there. So if these three things are there, automatically integrity will come in, and that is the ultimate. So you need it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm sure the last part would also make a lot of sense to the students of the coming years. So thank you again once more, and best wishes to you.
Thank you, Gaurash. Thank you.
And to our viewers, I'm sure you enjoyed this session. There are more such sessions that will be coming up, and I'm very thankful to the team of Aja to bring this kind of
and IDAC as well.
And IDAC, of course, IDAC goes nowhere. But to the Aja team, because they are working so rigorously towards this, and also to the new team who's working on the greens which have been affected because of the recent rains that have happened. The team of students and alumni getting together to help those trees to be put back on the college premises. Our best wishes to them. And of course to the entire IDAC team for standing up with us, taking care of all our tantrums. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you, and have a great evening, and looking forward in the next session. Thank you again.
Thank you.